Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Rosi Rahmawati. I'm from the 6th semester of English Education Department, and this video to fulfill the final exam for extensive reading. And the assignment is reviewing book. In this occasion, I take the title for reviewing book. The title is Hard Times, and the author is Carlos Dickens. The year published in 1854, and the type of this book is novel. The genre is drama and satire, and the title Hard Times refer to the difficulties of life caused by industrialization in England in the 6th century, and by the constraint of rigid, fact-based education that arose along within the attempt to increase profit and control life and death. The Hard Times book has many chapters, but I take only 5 chapters from chapter 1 until chapter 5. The chapter 1, the title is The One Thing Needful. The second is Murdering the Innocent. The third is A Loophole. And the fourth is Mr. Banderby. And the last is The Keynote. Okay, the next slide is summarize chapter 1. We can read together. A man makes a speech in your classroom. He demands the teaching and learning of nothing but facts, as facts are only useful way to create rational minds. The man is not yet named in this scene, but his physical appearance underscores his demand for facts with a square forefinger, pointing square wall of a forehead, and square coat, square legs, and square shoulders. His head is bald and knobby, ringed with bristles of hair, and his commanding voice projects from a thin, hard-set mouth. The schoolmaster and the other adults, along with the student, back slightly away from his authoritative presentation in a large, bare schoolroom. That is the summary of chapter 1, and the next is summary of chapter 2. In chapter 2, Mr. Gradgrin thinks of himself as a purely rational man oriented to the value of facts. When interacting with Sissy Jupe, first identified as girl number 20, he scolded her for calling herself Sissy, and scolded her father for using a nickname instead of her given name, that is Cecilia. When Mr. Grandridge learns her father works for the circus, he tells her to describe him as a horse breaker, adding, "You must not tell us about the ring here." After this session, an unnamed government officer explained to the student why a room should not be decorated with the picture of horse. Horses don't walk up and down outside of room in reality. That is the summary of chapter 2. For more understand about chapter 2, you can read by yourself. And the next is chapter 3. In this chapter, Mr. Gradgrin walks home from the school. He reflects on his role as a parent, feeling confident he is bringing up his children to be creators of pure reason. As the passes of 10 of the visiting circus, he sees the bill advertising Mr. Jupe and his performing dog Merrylegs among other acts. Dismissing the noise and festivity for the performance, he is the shocked and appalled to find two of his own children, there are Tom and Louisa, peeping into the tent to see the horse riding act in progress. Mr. Gradgrin scolded them harshly, and Louisa confessed the picking was her idea. Mr. Gradgrin refused to hear any further explanation and escort the children home. And the next is chapter 4. In this chapter, Mr. Bound Derby is a local banker, merchant, manufacturer, and and whatnot. A large rotund man with a loud voice who can never sufficiently found himself a self-made man. Mr. Vanderbilt tells the great Dreams, not for the first time, how he was born in a ditch and suffered from inflammation of the lungs. For the more explanation and understanding, you can read more by yourself. And the last is chapter 5. In this chapter 5 summarize, Cake Town is built of red brick cover and streaked with black ash from the factory's smoke attacks. The city's canal runs black and the river runs purple from textile dyes. The other city buildings are interchangeable. The jail might have been an infirmary. The infirmary might have been the jail. The town hall might have been either or both. There are 18 churches, none well attended by the works. Various societies and authorities criticize and the worker of our vices ranging from the drunkenness to opium use and everything else. The wealthy assume these same people are a bad lot altogether, and that they live upon the best, and yet were eternally dissatisfied and unmanageable. Okay, that is the summarize from chapter 1 until chapter 5, and the next slide is character. In this slide, explain the characterization by the character. There are main character and other major. The blue color there is main character, and the green color there is other major character, and the gray color there is minor character. In this slide, explain the characterization of the people in the novel, and from the novel chapter 1 until chapter 5, I found the quotes. The quote is, "Now what I want is facts. Teach these boys and girls nothing but facts. Facts alone are wanted in life," said Mr. Bounderby in chapter 1. Okay, that's my explanation about reviewing book, and thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.